Alright, YouTube, so this is from NBC News. Pittsburgh Synagogue shooting. Suspect Robert Bowers. I've heard it pronounced Boyers too. I don't know what the right or the correct pronunciation is, but it says Robert Bowers makes first court appearance in a wheelchair. And it says Pittsburgh, Robert Bowers, the man accused of killing 11 people when he opened fire at a Pittsburgh synagogue during services Saturday morning, showed no emotion as he arrived for his first courtroom appearance, wearing shackles, being pushed in a wheelchair surrounded by U.S. Marshals. Bowers, 46, was charged with 29 felony counts, including 11 counts of use of a firearm to commit murder, and 11 counts of obstruction of the exercise of religious beliefs, resulting in death. Yeah, that was interesting. I was hearing that a lot on Fox News today because they were talking about the actual charges that were made. And yeah, I didn't know that there was an actual law that was obstruction of the exercise of religious beliefs resulting in death. And it says here, he also faces 11 state charges, including attempted homicide and aggravated assault. And it doesn't say how many people he wounded, but I imagine it was probably a couple of dozen people. President Trump will visit Pittsburgh on Tuesday, Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said during a White House briefing on Monday. In court, Bowers was dressed in a blue sweatshirt for his court appearance. His handcuffs were removed at one point during the hearing so he could sign papers. He waived a reading of criminal complaints and a detention hearing, and also asked to have counsel appointed for him, which the judge agreed to do. Bowers was then wheeled back out of the courtroom without saying anything beyond the short answers to the judge's questions. So he's staying silent. He's pretty much exercising his Fifth Amendment. The right to not self-incriminate. And it's a very important rule of thumb. You never want to talk to the police. You have no obligation to talk to the police under no circumstances. And it's amazing. You never want to take your freedom for granted because people get arrested every day, for bullshit. And they usually get arrested because they talk. And the police, they use that documentation of you talking. And it doesn't even need to get recorded. They could basically just go to court, during your hearing, and they'll quote you, or they'll quote you basically how they remember you saying it, and then the prosecutor will say something like, well, and did anything about that make you suspicious, or make you think that he may have, something along the lines of that? And then he said, yes, it did. It sounded suspicious. And then that is very compelling to the jury, and they're like, yeah, he's definitely, well, it's up to the jury, actually. Anyways, it continues down here. U.S. Attorney Scott Brady said Bowers is being held without bond, and a preliminary hearing is scheduled for Thursday. Federal prosecutors also plan to seek the death penalty, the Associated Press reported. And it's got a picture here of the graves here. Got some names here. It's got Daryl Stein, Bernie Stein, Susan Sticco. Sorry, the pictures are kind of, I might read down here. Let's see if there's any more closer up pictures. This shows a picture here of U.S. Attorney Scott Brady and FBI agent Bob Jones. So they're the ones that are heading the... Actually, no, this is... yeah, no, so yeah, they are a part of the prosecution. Yeah, I got a low battery here. So gotta go ahead and wrap this up. So it says Sabbath services were underway at Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh's Squirrel Hill neighborhood when police say Bowers walked inside just before 10 a.m. Eastern Time and opened fire. Worshippers told MSNBC that a brie, or a circumcision celebration, was taking place at the time the shooting started. Bowers was armed with an assault rifle and 3 handguns when police arrested him, officials said. He reportedly yelled, "All Jews must die," before opening fire. At least 11 adults were killed in the massacre, and 6 people were injured, including 4 police officers. Dr. Don Yealy, chairman of emergency medicine at University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, said Saturday a 70-year-old man and a 55-year-old officer were in critical condition. Pittsburgh Public Safety Director Wendell Hisrich said the attack at Tree Life was one of the worst crime scenes he's ever seen. Bob Jones, an FBI special agent with the Pittsburgh field office, said a Pittsburgh officer and Bowers exchanged gunfire as he was leaving the synagogue. Bowers allegedly shot the officer and retreated back into the building where he hid from the SWAT. One other officer and 2 SWAT members were also shot, police said. Bowers was shot multiple times by police before his arrest and was taken to the hospital before federal officials took him into custody. Hours before the attack, Bowers reportedly threatened the Jewish community on the social networking site Gab, writing that the humanitarian nonprofit group Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society brought immigrants into the country to do violence. The post allegedly read, "Screw your optics, I'm going in." And Sargon, if you checked it out, he's got a screen cap of that. I'm sure many others do. There's probably some screen caps flown around the internets, as Bush says. I love that. Internets, that's great. Anyways, it reads here, at the White House, Sanders defended Trump against criticism that he hasn't done enough to denounce white nationalism. Quote, he denounced racism, hatred, and bigotry in all forms on a number of occasions, end quote, Sanders said. He will continue to do that. I'm doing it here today. And, sorry, I gotta refresh the page. Rabbi Jeffrey Myers, who was presiding over the congregation when shots rang out, said on Today that it would be his honor to welcome Trump to the city. While the former president of Tree of Life Synagogue said on CNN that she does not think Trump should visit because he's a purveyor of hate speech, or hurt speech, I guess. Works either way. I do not welcome this president to my city, Lynette Lederman said. The hypocritical words that come from him tell me nothing, Lederman continued. We have people who stand by us who believe in our values, not just Jewish values, but believe in values. And those are not the values of this president. And I do not welcome him to Pittsburgh. And that's the end of the article. This was written 3 hours ago, and somewhat breaking news, I guess. It's the narrative over the weekend was very obvious. It's that there's a rise in anti-Semitism, and all the networks were talking about it. Basically, that anti-Semitism is on the rise here in the United States, and I disagree with that. I really do. I think that there's a number of things going on here, and I'm not going to be able to point them all out. Maybe you guys can help me out in the comment section, but obviously they're trying to perpetuate this, and I think they're kind of going off the, I guess, humor that's around the internets, like 4chan and sometimes Reddit, I guess. It's pretty kosher on Reddit, if you ask me, but there's a difference between joking about killing Jews and actually killing Jews, and there's a difference between, this is I guess they see there's a difference between 11 Jews getting shot in Pittsburgh as opposed to like 11 black folks getting shot in Chicago. Because this happens pretty much on a weekend basis, or a weekly basis, you know, it happens. It may not have happened over this weekend, but it definitely happens. And, you know, they're really accentuating the Jews, I guess, and really victimizing the Jews. And I'll be honest, as a Jew, I'm not really for this shit. I'm not really for being all, you know, this is just coming from the heart right now, like, I don't know, it's kind of like that Cherokee bullshit, that Cherokee blood bullshit, but I guess I can use it as an excuse to kind of get my message across. Look, and I think this is kind of universal to all races, that you should never look at your race as victimized. And this even goes out to the whites too, you know. You got to at least acknowledge that there's, you know, actual like violence being done on you, but you got to stand up for yourself, obviously, you know. And there was also another, and there was a Jewish individual. I think this was coming from Zero Hedge. I'll go ahead and make a video about this next, but it was amazing. He was like, "Oh, I'm a Jew, and I'm gonna exercise my second right, or excuse me, my Second Amendment." And that's what I'm talking about. This is the mindset that we need to get to. Unfortunately, you know, we need to arm up. Unfortunately, it's absolutely true. Just use fucking common sense here. That two fellas in the synagogue with Glocks, with like 40mm Glocks.
Hey,
Sorry about that.
Make a deal on any new Honda right now. Pay nothing until next year.
Sorry about that. Anyways, that fellow would have been put down within a matter of seconds before he even pulled his piece out, because they literally have people that guard churches out in the boonies, like up in Colorado, and you know, just literally up in the boonies, up in the fucking boonies. And Trump comes out and he's like, yeah, they should have fucking had guards. Obviously, they should have fucking had guards. It's a major place of worship. Churches.
Make a deal on any new Honda right here.
Mosques. And look, it's people got to exercise their Second Amendment. I'll just go ahead and wrap it up. That was a pretty good take. I'm going to end it on that. But yeah, like that's like one of the many narratives we could talk about. And this goes out to everybody: the whites, the blacks, the Jews, the Asians, the Italians, everybody. You got to arm up, because they're using this whole race thing. It's like it's pretty much irrelevant what your fucking race is, honestly. It doesn't matter to them, because they're all going to be taken care of, the powerful elite. This is kind of their plan. This is part of their plan. I can't really articulate it right now, but they're trying to perpetuate that there's a civil war going on right now, because they want people to kill each other. So that's kind of where it gets difficult. It's like, well, you got to arm yourselves, but you got to essentially protect yourselves. Yeah, you got to protect yourselves from criminals, from the establishment included, unfortunately. But all right, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless, and I'll see you later. Peace out.